Good morning. Saturday, May 6, 11:09 a.m. I'm a little early, I guess. 11:09 a.m. There I have audio confirmation. Go mute that tab. Mute Baby Beast. If you weren't here from my last stream, it was epic. Fail. Epic fail. Yeah, I tried starting live stream about 10 minutes ago. It seemed like it started, but then XSplit crashed. So I'll be explaining what I think was the cause of that, and maybe we can see from an event viewer. Maybe I wonder if it'll give me a clue. I've got audio confirmation over here on this tab, Windows Fixer Club. By the way, Zoom is open, and Brian Lightfoot is there. He's all lonely there in Zoom right now. Go join him. I'll be bringing in the Zoom people in a little bit. Not too long, pretty quick, I think. Pop out chat. And then zoom this up a bit. So the chat messages that I saw earlier, Tony Wallow had a 99-cent super chat earlier, and he comes in with another 99 cents. So he doubled down in today's super chat. Thank you, Tony. He also sent me a text message when issues started appearing. The first symptom was that my audio wasn't coming through. And as I was working trying to fix that, XSplit just closed. Everything else was still open, but XSplit was closed. There's more behind that story. Jim, bloody trailer again. Oh man, I know. Here's the thing, Jim. If that trailer comes up again, you can go down to the playhead and scrub it all the way almost to the end. That way you don't have to watch the whole thing through again. Because once you see it once, once you see one of my trailers once, that's probably enough. Anytime you refresh the page or come back, open the page again, you're going to see the bloody trailer again. So just drag the playhead forward to skip that. And Tony, DVR, W, good. Yeah, W watches on the table, so Tony's caught that. That means I can, and I heard his text message come in because the watch is on the table. Jonathan, Ida likes her kitchen, referring to Jennifer likes her kitchen a lot. It's my kitchen. She was in my kitchen. Only thing I would change is the cabinet color to white. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Chris says, wow, he always has something crashing. I'm a very accomplished individual. Thank you for that compliment, Chris. Ran Israel, hello again, everybody, whenever and wherever. The start time is actually being indicated in the upper right when there's a trailer. Yes, I noticed that, Dennis. Apparently that's only when there's a trailer. I think when it's a live stream and there's no trailer, then the countdown is in the bottom left. And I was watching that to see if it ever changes to show in the bottom left, and it does not. Dumpster fire, we seem to be hearing you on YouTube if that is something you want to know about. We seem to be hearing, that sounds like a problem symptom. But I think all is good. Josh and Sam Lazar, hello, Black Serendipity, so did X Split. Good one. Speedy C. Greg Guy, hi, 68 degrees, St. Mary's County, Maryland. Why do I keep trying to say island with that? Navy retired, as was my dad. Just joined after being 15 hours for a Star Wars marathon. Oh, good gollies. Ugh. Rand Israel asking who won the marathon. I lost, but now I am sound or found. Zavi Minor, hello again. Let's see, another Star Wars comment. And I got a YouTube notification chiming in for what? I guess a comment. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Yeah, I'm not going to track that down right now. Selden Ball, hello. Jonathan's asking for topic number 9. Dennis, 93 degrees, super humidity. Hi, Doug and everyone from Buns of Wisdom. Busy with university exams. Okay, then, topic number 9. So what is that? Topic number 9, demonstrate ShieldsUp at grc.com. Oh, all right. Interesting. I think that's the first time I've had that one requested. I think I've had that on there for a few weeks. Seem that is because you're fiddling with AI videos, so how do I know it's real anymore? Live or Memorex, listening while driving, Ken Stout, engine number 9. So let's come over and bring in Zoom. Be ready to mute your YouTube audio, Brian. And let's see, I've got to turn on my video there. And let's see if we got audio on you, Brian. Brian, speak. Nope, not hearing you. That means I'm not going to hear Chris either. Why is that? That says headset.
You don't see because I'm looking for a shirt. Then I'll turn the camera.
All right, I got audio on Chris. There's audio on Brian.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I didn't do anything to fix that. I don't know why. Did you do anything on your end, Brian, to fix your audio?
Nothing.
Oh, well. It's a deep subject.
It's a full moon.
All right. So I suppose it's time to tell about what I think happened. When I saw it crashed, I was surprised and stunned because I thought I had restarted Big Beast build this morning, and turns out I did not. I went into to check on that, and just to review this technique for everybody, go into Task Manager. I used Control-Shift-Escape to get to there. Then the Performance tab, and then CPU, and down here you'll see your uptime. And it showed me as being up about 18 hours, and when I look at this, I look at, okay, that's seconds, that's minutes, that's hours, and then that's days. And sometimes I get clients, I'll call them and did you try restarting your computer? And they say yes, and then I come in here and look at it, and it's been running for 2 weeks. Sometimes they don't understand what restarting a computer means. So as I started closing things down, I discovered I had Fortnite open. Why would I have Fortnite open? Well, I opened it earlier today because I wanted to go look at something. Well, Fortnite takes my microphone. So I think that XSplit and Fortnite were fighting over my microphone, and XSplit finally gave up and said, you win, and it just closed. When XSplit closes, I'd prefer to restart Big Beast build. So Big Beast build did not lock up. It did not freeze. XSplit closed. And I think it was because it was having an argument with Fortnite over the microphone. Can't we all get along? So, hello, Brian. How are you today? Do you have any topics to bring to us?
It should be a new one. It's called How to Fix Sound Issues. You just did that.
Oh, I did. How to fix sound issues. I'm not getting it. What do you?
Yeah, we weren't getting sound either, but you fixed it.
Sound issues.
Sound.
I'm sorry, I heard found, F as in Foxtrot, found. No, all right, yeah. So that's not how to fix sound issues. That only explains the likely cause of the sound issue that I had in that instance. Yeah. Oh boy, Chris, hello to you. Do you have any topics to bring to us?
Is that number 11? Is that Josh's issue? Is that Josh's SSD?
No, it's not.
I don't have no issue. I don't have nothing. I just was wondering if that's his SSD.
Nope. Subject number 11 is this SSD right here, and it belongs to a client, and I don't think I have talked anything about it during Windows Daily this week, but that was just a day or two ago that I had that issue. So that is new and different and kind of interesting, I think.
Did you ever get Josh's drive he sent?
No, not the last time I checked. The address I gave him to send it to was a mail service that I use, and I've only been there to check on it twice. The last check was this past Monday. So it was pretty long overdue at that point. It's a special trip to go check on it. I haven't been out that way again. So
I've got a quick question. I noticed number 14 about resetting your indexing service on Big Beast.
Yeah.
Is that something new that's on the list?
I think I might have had it on there last week. I'm not sure if I did or not, but that's on Baby Beast, not Big Beast.
Oh, Baby Beast. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to do that on Big Beast during a show because
It'll take forever.
Yeah, it'll take a lot of processing power, and that could interrupt the stream. So I can, capture Baby Beast and show that process. Now, I don't have a need to do that, but that is a thing for fixing a computer that seems to get bogged down occasionally, where a computer gets sluggish occasionally, and then other times it seems fine. When the technician comes to look at the computer, it's working fine, and the end user is all embarrassed and think that he's not believing me. But I have caught Windows indexing service being overly busy, and I had one or two occasions in the past where I canceled it or stopped, turned it off, and then restarted it, and discovered that it can take a long time for it to finish reindexing.
Because I've noticed recently in a number of utilities about how to speed up performance on Windows. One of the suggestions was to turn off indexing service, and I'm going like, I don't know about that.
Well, the problem with that is I have had clients call me saying they can't find a file that they know is there. They don't remember what they called it. They don't remember where they put it. So I asked them, do you remember some unique words that are inside the file? And then I go search for that. And if the indexing is allowing the indexing of contents, then I've been successful finding their file. And they wind up being surprised what it was called and where it was stored. But so I'm reluctant to just turn it off. I'm also reluctant to turn off indexing of file contents. Now, if it's your own computer and you know that you never use that, you will never need to use that, then fine, turn it off. But I don't turn it off for my clients' computers because I have found some of them, particularly, in fact, I came across a study that found that students coming out of high schools and college don't have a lot of awareness about folders and file structure hierarchy, folder structure hierarchy, and organizing files that way. They just save them and then they just do a search to find the file, and they may or may not be searching by the title. So that particular, study or report, whatever, was kind of pointing out that schools are not teaching those organizational skills very much. I need to cover a topic with Chris. That in the previous live stream, Chris, that you put in the Judy in the Sky lyrics or song, wasn't that you, Chris, that did that?
That was.
Yeah. And so I went and watched that, and Chris, you have totally shaken my world. I am going to have to reevaluate everything that I thought was true about life because I thought it was Judy in the Sky.
But hey, there is a Lucy in the Sky song.
Lucy in the Sky, really?
I was getting it mixed up. But my 4-year-old niece, when that song was on the other day, I know she was saying Lucy in the Sky.
Well, either
was singing 60 music, yeah.
I think I perceived that one to be Judy in the Sky when it's actually Judy.
I always thought it was. Yeah, I did too. But then I found out one day it wasn't.
It's Lucy in the Sky, LSD. Goes back to the drug areas with the Beatles.
Well, that's the Lucy one, but the Judy
Right.
is Judy in Disguise, not Judy in the Sky. So, Brian, do you have an explanation of what Judy in the Sky actually means?
Never
No.
heard of it, unless it's Jennifer in the Sky.
No. Chris, you want
No.
to put that into chat again? That way Brian can maybe have his memory refresh. Oh, those
Wintermute says Lucy in the Sky with diamonds. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Well, when I was trying to think through Judy in Disguise, I came up with the diamonds phrase in my head afterwards, but I think I probably getting the songs mixed up.
It was a song.
All right, so hello to Josh. How are you?
Hi, Doug. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't know if you heard, but I haven't. The last time I checked to see if your drive arrived was Monday, and it was not here yet.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna get that out for you. We're having problem with the guy at the group home, but he have it and he's gonna send it out.
Oh, okay. It hasn't been sent yet. I was wondering if somebody else was sending it for you, and that might have been the holdup.
Yeah, someone else is sending it. I gave
Okay.
him your address. They're gonna take care of it.
Okay, very good. You know what? If you're able to, I would suggest you take a photo of the package with the address on it before it gets away from you, just to be able to verify that the address got put on it all right. Because
Yeah, I'll do that
I was
when I get in
thinking,
contact with him.
yeah, what if he writes the address wrong on the package? I'm gonna go catch
Well,
up with.
I sent him the address by email.
You sent him the address by email. Oh, so he's not right there with you. You can't see the
No.
package when he sends it.
No.
All right. I guess you could ask him to send you a photo of the package before he sends it, but maybe if you think that works with him or not, your choice. All right, let me catch up back here on chat. Topic number 16: how to fix. Oh, that's Brian's adding that. All right,
Oops.
I get it. Moraton, hello. Buns of Wisdom. Let's see, Ida. Humidity 45%. Don't know, is that considered high or not? No idea. GRC is a good test from Daco. That's the ShieldsUp. Yeah, let's see. I ran that on a client's office. I don't want to run it on a client's office. Guess I could run it on my that'd be my own IP address, but you're not supposed to make your public IP address known. But I don't know. I'm a little more adventurous than most. Not so risk adverse. More time, Josh. Let's see. Thanks for your help last night. Ken, Buns of Wisdom, Jonathan, Brian. Am I catching all the names right? How far behind am I? Oh, good grief, good golly. Full Moon New King, number 11. That brand name is on sale. I think that is what? Number 11. Oh, he must. Oh, yeah, I said SP. So, what was that? Silicon Pacific, something like that. I'm just in time finishing my washing machine. I got to start skipping through these faster. Speedy C, topic 11. That's the SSD. Jonathan 11. Prevent your microphone being clogged by phlegm. I think Daco is noticing that I have my tea cup in hand. This is the water cup. The number 11, the Amazon sales for NVMe, not an SSD, 2.5 inch. I gotta stop buying things for a while. Just paid off a laptop. Paid a large amount because the interest was building. More taunt, Chris, the Bronc asked for number 6. YouTube layout changes regarding comments location. Good. That was a new one. The Bronc 9, number 6. Did I repeat that one? I did. The info on that app is different than Google. It says new washboard is $86. Beatles love you. Wintermute, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is Beatles.
Hey, and I just Googled, there was a store in Texas called Lucy in Disguise with Diamonds.
Oh, they got it mixed up then.
Well,
No, Lucy in the Sky is right. Okay, that's the right one.
Google, if I type in Judy in the Sky, it comes up that song Disguise. So obviously we're not the only one that thought that.
Yeah, and here's Black
Well, that's what people
Serendipity.
search.
Black Serendipity saying there is no Judy in the sky, in my opinion. Well, correct. It's Judy in disguise, not the sky. Judy in disguise. Fred and the Playboys. That outfits. Those outfits these guys are wearing. Good grief. Let's see. Is this the same one that I saw previously?
Yeah, Jim posted it too.
Yeah. I think this is a different clip. It's the same group, but the lead singer in the clip that Chris originally posted was a different
I thought
outfit.
it was that one, the first one I saw on Google.
Same melody.
Yeah. More Tonto Black Serendipity. There's more Judy.
Judy. Like on Andy Griffiths. Judy.
All right, scanning through these a bit. So the way to get my attention through the rest of today is put in a big bright emoji of some sort at the beginning of your text. If you put things at the end of the text, I'm going to assume you're, kind of laughing or whatever. Putting something big, bright, noticeable at the beginning of your text will get my attention. Or use the @LI and then click on my channel name, because that'll show up in bright orange on my screen. And I'm going to not read through everything. And Tony Wallow is saying hello and put in those bright emojis as an example. All right.
Those were diamonds in the sky is what.
Those
Tony
are diamonds. What Tony
diamonds.
put in. You're right. Good.
I figured
catch.
it out.
When I saw those, the word diamonds did come to my mind, but I did not make the connection to what we were talking about earlier. Ay, caramba. Well, the trailer that played before this live stream was promoting the new waiting room design, and you guys haven't seen it yet because you came straight in. I haven't turned on the waiting room yet. Since it was Ken Stout that was requesting it, I'm kind of inclined to wait until he gets home before I show you the new design. So we'll be getting to that too later on. Let's turn our attention to topics then. I'll go to the list of topics and figure out. One of these was getting a lot more attention than the others. I think 11 was getting more attention, and that's a fairly quick story. We could go actually look at this, but this was an SP 1 terabyte. It's got my client name on it. This is an SP 1 terabyte SSD. My client was complaining. I remember now. I did tell you a little bit about this story. What I told you about is in a client's office, I had one computer in the office that was reporting sluggishness and emails that people in the office would send her emails and they wouldn't arrive till the next day. When she went to use her time clock to punch in or out, it just took a really, really long time for it to respond, but it did eventually respond. She would get some not responding messages on apps, and then they would catch and work. And what I did for her was put in a USB Wi-Fi, a TP link, and it solved her problem. Just suddenly, instantly, the computer is faster. And when she was going to File Explorer and trying to access files that were on the file server, there'd be that bar graph at the top that would slowly increment across from left to right. Put in that, and instantly the computer was just crazy zippy. That office, that inner office in that building, has had off and on complaints like that periodically through multiple staff people in that office and multiple different computers. So I guess there's got to be something going on with that network connection. And in the past, when I've tried to troubleshoot that, I've done a Ethernet cable across the floor to the network switch, and that would fix it. And then I take that Ethernet cable off and return to the Ethernet cable that goes through the building, and it's still fine. The problem, it didn't return to the problem state. And it seemed to me like it was seasonal. Certain times of the year, it would have problems for a while, and then it would kind of clear up and be okay performance. So now that Wi-Fi adapter fixed her. Well, then the next day, another person in a second building, same company, same property, but they have two buildings, was reporting very, very similar things. So I bought another one of these. This one actually it's heavy enough. It's got the device in it now. But this is the one that I bought for her, connected to her computer. Said, no, it's not any better. So I went over, let's see, after hours, I think it was, yeah, in the evening, to try to troubleshoot that further. Oh, I got photos to show you, this troubleshooting. Yeah, let's do this. Let me show you photos there. I'm pulling up my iCloud. Actually, I might already have downloaded that. Let's see. No, it's not there, so I'm going to have to download it. There's this one. Two photos. I'm going to show you. Download those. Open the folder. I'll extract those. iCloud photos number 6. And bring up the first photo. So here's the test I decided to do. On the right hand side, you see crystal disk info showing it's in SP solid state disk, 1 terabyte. Shows transfer mode SATA 600. How long has this been in service? It's got 5,000 gigabytes written, and power on hours 8,375. I only installed this a few months ago. If you divide that by hours and figure out how many days that is, I think you can figure out how many days ago I installed it. These values down here, they looked okay to me. I didn't see anything to be alarmed about as far as like bad block count is showing 0. I've learned to look at the raw values. These over here are just not very accurate. So then I started Crystal Disk Mart to check the speed on it, and the first number that was coming up for the reads, that looks okay. Now, I'm going to go over to chat and see if anybody's speculating on this. No comments on this yet. I'm about to take you to the next photo. It's going to show that speed test finished. And there it is. What do you think of that?
Ooh.
There you go. There you go. I was kind of hoping Jim would be here for this reveal because I'd get a really good audible response from him on that. For those who don't know, these writes are disastrous.
Yeah.
Disastrous. So that was in the evening after hours, and I had another SP SSD new 1 terabyte on hand, but I preferred to put in a why am I drawing a blank? Samsung. So I ordered the Samsung and told the person by text that I was going to work on it. Speak of the devil. Jim, have you ever seen anything?
Oh, okay. I see where that's going. Not that I don't resemble that remark, but that's another subject.
Yeah.
Hi, Jim.
Interesting. If you would be so kind as to
Yeah.
pull that thing back up so I can look at it.
Sure.
There's something that kind of caught my eye.
Well, I'll give you the first photo first, since it includes the crystal disc. You want the next one here?
No, hang on. I'm waiting for it to come up.
Oh,
There we-
all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a delay, so just give me a second.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that one I don't need. Give me the other one.
It's already waiting for you to see.
Fine.
Did it come up yet?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
I didn't think I stayed on the first photo that long. The one.
I'm still looking at the write speeds. I need to look at the one before that.
Oh, okay. I didn't leave it on long enough for you. I just went back to it.
There we go. That's it. What I'm looking at and what's got me wondering is the total NAND writes.
Total NAND writes right up here. 180,000 terabytes. Interesting. Total host writes 5 terabytes.
Right, but the total NAND writes is way, way up. I'm wondering if this thing has essentially reached its terabyte written limit.
Curious. And when they reach their limit, then they're basically read only.
Yes.
And crystal disk doesn't give you a TBW number then, huh?
Well, in a way, I think it does. I think that's what that total NAND writes is.
Interesting.
Well, if it is, it's time to put it out to pasture.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
obviously he has.
Yeah. But I'm wondering how that would have happened. When I looked back at my invoice to the client, my recollection is that the way that my billing works is when I buy something through Amazon, it gets entered into my billing, and if it's inventory item, it gets flagged as such. And then when I sell it to a client, I go back to my purchase record and charge it to that client. So next time I generate an invoice for that client, it automatically populates on their invoice. And that is a technique that prevents me from installing a used device. There are occasions when I will upgrade or replace a device where I'll keep the old one, such as a drive, around, but that doesn't go into a computer for a client. Now I'm talking that through, I'm thinking there may have been a rare occasion where when I have an emergency need to replace, for instance, a defective spinning drive, and I don't have a new SSD on hand. If I have one that has been swapped from another computer for some reason, that I could put that in. I'm wondering if that's what I did, which would be a total mistake on my part. But that doesn't make sense because I have my inventory goes through. I'm pretty accurate with it. So that's a good catch. Glad you caught that. Because now that is a reason, perhaps, when I buy an SSD that I should routinely check Crystal Disk Info and Crystal Disk Mark, because I don't. I will open a package, install a product, and the computer turns on and boots and feels fine. I'll put it back into service. All right.
Okay. Well, it's something that caught my eye.
Yeah.
And that number is like way, way out in left field.
Yeah, it is. Is that a number that you routinely look at, or did you just happen to catch it?
I just happened to catch it. No, it's not a number I routinely look at. I'm curious to which version of Crystal Disk Info that you were using at that point.
I downloaded a fresh copy It was on the client's computer. So rather than, I don't carry USB stick around with me anymore. So I just download what I need when I need it.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go catch up in chat. That's the end of my story on that. Let's see, where was I at? So, there's Tony's pink hands and diamonds. So now Lwtdb put in my name rather than emojis. When you bring up that emoji choice list, let us say you do not want to actually add one. How do you get rid of the choice list? Some programs just do not seem to easily figure. I don't seem to figure it out. Well, I have had that happen too. Lwtdb, once you pull up this emoji list, like I have it up now, this down arrow is to get to the end of the chat room, and I think it's this keyboard down here. Click on that keyboard icon. That's how you get rid of it. And I actually had somebody, I was asking the same question, and somebody pointed out to me that's the way to do it. Okay, looking for others. I'm not reading through all of these comments. I'm scrolling past because I know there's a lot in there. Oh, the person that had that guitar foot pedal thing. I'm not remembering her name right now. But in the previous live stream, she told us about having fixed that issue. Buns of Wisdom. I bought one of them before and mine just wasn't detected by my Gigabyte motherboard. I assume it failed right away. Dennis, that SSD write speed would ban that brand name from this house. It kind of has, well, it had that effect on me until Jim pointed out that number and wondering now, was it my fault? Hello, Maryville Maid. You know what? I know you well enough. I'm going to turn you blue.
Hey, Doug, did that client ever get back to you about that lockup in Google Chrome?
About the lockup in Google Chrome. Oh no, that wasn't a client. That was somebody that was communicating through comments on my videos. And
That's number 2 on the list, I think, isn't it?
yes. Oh, he did respond. In fact, right away. On a Windows Daily episode, I responded to his most recent information, and then he about half an hour or hour after the show responded by email. So let me go pull that up with some very useful response. Let's see, where is he? 5, is that it? Oh, I know the way to do it. Let's go look at that actual video. That's the easiest way to, because we can see the whole comment stream. Although, you know what? I think his reply was by email. Strong Noah. I think his last reply was by email. Let's see if that's the case. Oh no, this is the response after that last live stream. I told him up here. Oh, that was this was actually Josh's suggestion, and I had previously discounted that, and then I realized no, Josh really hasn't the right idea there. I told him up here that I replied to 2 locations in that stream, and then invited him to come in on Saturday that we can connect to his computer and look through the logs, because maybe he doesn't know how to do that. And then here's what he responded. Okay, when the computer locks up, none of the keyboard buttons work, so caps lock and nums lock don't respond, nothing. Not even Task Manager or my wireless mouse. The keyboard is wireless as well, but performs just fine. So not even Task Manager or wireless mouse. So we're saying the mouse doesn't work. Is this saying that the keyboard does respond? I don't think, no, up here he says none of the keyboard works. So otherwise, before the lockup, his keyboard works fine. When the PC does freeze, I don't have a lot of stuff running in the background. You know what? When I first read this from him, I thought it said he does have a lot of stuff running in the background. So I had that wrong. I mean, I have a USB hub that always was plugged in, and it has a USB flash drive plugged in, along with an external CD drive and my USB external speakers. So they are plugged all the time. Once in a while, the USB flash drive disconnects, and I just have to take it out gently and plug it back in and connects again. So my comments to him about disconnecting everything except keyboard and mouse, I would include the USB hub as a suspect,
Yep.
and the external CD drive as a suspect. You need to have those disconnected for a long enough time to determine that the computer still locks up, even if they were not connected since the last restart. So it's not sufficient to just disconnect them and restart the computer. Then moving forward from then, if you have a lockup, you can eliminate those as suspects. The USB external speakers, I'd be fine with leaving them plugged in. I don't think that's any situation where that could be an issue. But now wait a minute, they are USB. USB external speakers, so they're not plugged into the usual green sound port. I don't have a lot of experience with USB speakers now that I think about it. They are plugged in all the time, which does not mean they are not the source of the trouble. Once in a while, the USB flash drive disconnects, which adds to the possibility that it's a source of trouble. And I just have to take out gently and plug it back in, and it connects again. Now, it's highly possible, a person might even say likely, that these components that we're talking about here are not the source of the trouble. But you don't know that until you test it by disconnecting them, restart the computer, and use it that way long enough to determine whether the problem is still present or not.
I have some external speakers, Doug. It plugs into the green port, like you say, but it also plugs into the USB port for power. It does not use 110 volt power.
Well, that's okay. If it's just using the USB for power, then that's okay. If it's speakers that are plugged into USB only and they're not plugged into the sound port, then I would be suspicious of those, simply because I'm not acquainted with those. Do they even exist? I don't even know. I've never seen that.
I have a big computer set up with a Bluetooth speaker, but it's not even connected at all. And then I have my aunt's computer connected with the regular pair of speakers. But the regular pair of speakers, they go into the headphone jack and they plug into the wall.
All right. Continuing. When the computer locks up, yes, there's a power button on the back of the HP all-in-one. I have to press that. Okay, that's a regular power on button. That's not a rocker switch that you might find on a regular tower computer, because this is an all-in-one. It's a power button on the back of the computer. Because that's the only thing that works at the time, press that down to hold it, turn off the computer. So it sounds like he's having to hold it down for 10 seconds. Doug, the other day when my PC crashed again, this time I finally got a blue screen error. I'm not too concerned about that, because all that means to me is the crash occurred at a different instant in time that coincidentally triggered a blue screen error. If you're not getting the same blue screen error every time whatever symptom you're having occurs, then I don't think anything you find in that blue screen error is going to be very useful. However, for due diligence, you could take the information that's towards the bottom of the blue screen, because that's the information that might be informative. It will tell something about a device or a driver or some specific error code that you can do a Google search on. But because that's rare in your crashes, it rarely blue screens. I'm not too interested in that. Actually, my internet had gone down as well because of an outage in the area. So I'm thinking that this is in reference to this particular crash instance, and that all of his other crashes are not coincidental to an internet going down. I'll be honest with you, I was relieved to see a blue screen for once. I mean, of course, I'm not real happy, but the blue screen in Windows is much friendlier looking than in past blue screens. Now, I believe he did reveal somewhere that it's Windows 11. I don't think that came out right at the beginning. Here's a read more. Seems to me somewhere along the line he revealed that it was Windows 11. I'm not seeing that in here. Doug, all I know is I never had a problem with Windows 7 back in 2013. It was awesome. No crashes ever on Windows 7 for me, and now it's permanently discontinued. It never froze once.
He's lucky.
Well, yeah, I found Windows 7 far more troublesome than Windows 10, and I'm basing that on my wide quantity of experience with clients' computers. For him to, as an individual, never had troubles with Windows 7, that doesn't say a whole lot to me as far as the big picture comparison of the operating system versions. And the crashes that he's having, all the times that I've experienced crashes and lockups, they have been caused by some hardware device or some software conflict incompatibility or some driver problem. I don't know that I've ever found an occasional crash caused by like a motherboard defect or a memory defect. When I've diagnosed a motherboard defect or memory defect or some hardware component, that's usually been a fail to install Windows or total failure for a computer to boot at all.
Story.
All right, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, I got a story. And this goes under the title of I'll never do that again. I built a newer machine. This probably goes back a couple years, and I went real cheap and I got one of the A series AMD motherboards. Now I looked at the QVL, which is the memory that's supposed to be compatible with that board, and what I bought seemed to be on the list. I knew that I was in trouble when I tried to install Windows 10 and it blue screen.
Yeah.
I knew I was in trouble, but I went ahead and I got it installed and all that, and I would get random blue screens. I mean, really random. The thing could run fine for a week, and then it would blue screen 5 times, and then it would behave itself for a few days, and then it would blue screen, and then it would be fine for 2 weeks, and then it drove me crazy. And I finally replaced the motherboard with a B series motherboard, and after I had done that, there was no problem. Everything was nice and stable. A few months later, I go back and I figure out, well, let me see what I can do with this board. And I bought some different memory. Plug that memory in, and it was completely stable.
Oh.
Never had another problem with it.
On the A series board.
On the A series board.
Ah, okay.
Okay, on the A series board, for some reason, even though the original memory I'd used with it was supposedly on the list, there was a problem. And I can't tell you how many BIOS updates and whatnot. Drove me up a wall. So I had set it aside and whatever, and I came back to it months later, and I'm like, let me just try this other memory that's in there. And I think it was, what was it? It was either G-Skill or PNY or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I plugged it all in and I set up a whole new, like a spare system, and it never caused me another problem after that. So, but I've learned my lesson. I do not buy A series boards when it comes to AMD because they are the cheapest ones. They're the most stripped down. I'll never do that again.
Well, sounds like a good lesson.
No, yeah, it was a painful lesson too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm for quite a long time, I've been open to buying either Samsung or SD. Is that right? Is that what the other one's called? Yeah, SP. But this experience is, and because prices are so much lower now than they used to be on all those devices. When I look now at the difference in price between the Samsung and the SP, I mean, it's almost twice as much at the brief quick look that I looked, but it still is like $50-$60, something like that for the 1 terabyte Samsung. I'm thinking, no, to save $20-$25, I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm probably completely on board with Samsung. Now, the only other possibility that I might order an SP, I think, is if I need one right away and the Samsungs just can't deliver quickly enough, which I think is rare. All right, I'm going to go back and do some more on his comment here because there's more. We're not done. And I had 3 gigabytes of memory on it because I was running Vista before I upgraded to Windows 7. I think that was referring to his old computer. Not. I don't think that's his current computer that he's having trouble with. Do we know? Did he? I don't think this HP All-in-One is. No, he bought this. He bought this HP All-in-One in 2022. So he's saying Windows 8.1 was okay too all along. So he was one of those 3 people in the world that was using Windows 8.1. Yeah, I didn't come across many people.
Trust me, Doug. I'm of the same opinion. You used Windows 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 8.1 was better than 8.0, but
oh god, yes.
Still, it was with 8.0. I think it would. I think you could get back to the regular desktop, but it seemed like it was easier with 8.1. I can't recite all the differences between them. I'm going to get back to chat soon here, I promise you. I know I've been away from chat for a while.
Doug, didn't you advise this guy to disconnect all unnecessary things? And apparently he hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, he hasn't given now, but keep in mind that this comment that he's given us was immediately after the last live stream where I reiterated my advice to disconnecting everything. I think I'd already advised that the day before, but
why does he have an external DVD player plugged in the USB port at all times?
Yeah, I can see that he might need it on occasion, but he's probably not needing it all the time.
And it's probably an unpowered USB hub, and everything is drawing an overload of power on it. That may be his problem. Take the USB hub out of the equation.
Yeah, well, I'm saying take everything, the CD drive and the USB hub. Was there anything else? Is that all that he had connected? I just want keyboard and mouse connected.
Yeah.
And if you disconnect those, restart the computer, and then you're testing it over a period of days and it hasn't crashed yet, now you need to use one of those other devices. Go ahead and use the device, but then disconnect it, restart the computer, and continue your test. Because when he said it had, I think he said that it had locked up like 12 times this year. Well, that's not a consistent symptom. You've got to be using for the computer for a long period of time before you decide that you have eliminated the problem. And then if you find that does eliminate the problem, then we got to figure out, okay, which of those are actually at fault, and can we update firmware on some device, or can we swap out for a different device, or can we update drivers on the computer? Are there optional drivers that Windows is offering that you haven't installed yet? Because those oftentimes have something to do with USB services. All right, let me come back and finish up his last thing. Here he tells us, by the way, my BIOS UEFI is up to date. Maybe I'll try to turn off the hardware acceleration mode in Chrome. So you heard that, like somebody said in the live comments. Maybe it will or won't help. And I did at first think it would happen on Edge, but it did. I think there's probably a typo here. And I didn't at first think it would happen on Edge, but it did. Oh, no typo. He's saying that at first he didn't think the problem was on Edge as well as Chrome, but it is on both. But both of them are Chromium based. So you can turn off that hardware acceleration on each of them. What is a mother to do? LOL. What is a mother to do? I didn't notice that previously. Strong Noah, he's got a picture of himself here, and also he showed up in email as Noah B. Oh, I know his channel. On his channel, Noah G, not Noah B. So I'm not sure what the comment about what is a mother to do is about. Now, so he might be showing up in chat as Noah B. So just scrolling down to see if he's there that way. Now, one of the topics that I have is to try out this new extension that I have for XSplit for chat to see if it works better, because I know when I scroll through it's very choppy and annoying to you folks. I have this extension already installed. I just switch over to it to see if it works. So I'm looking through for those emojis. I'm seeing, here's Doug again. When you replace this drive, I'm wondering if you should monitor this total NAND rates, because that is kind of unusual, almost like something was constantly writing to the drive.
Windows constantly writes to the drive.
Yeah, and SSDs itself, they're constantly moving things around to balance the utilization of the drive, but I'm suspecting this is I'm thinking this total host rights, I'm wondering if that is since the last reformat of the drive, and could total NAND rights be prior?
I also noticed he's got it partitioned into two drives, the C, the boot drive, presumably, and another drive letter M.
Yeah, that's not him partitioning that's Doug. That's a Doug thing. Because the M drive has the Macrim Reflect backups. So it's very common that I will take a 1 terabyte drive, split it about half, and set up Macrim Reflect free to do scheduled backups. And that has saved me many, many times. I don't have that on all of the computers out there, but every chance that I get to do that configuration, I do it. And I also turn on registry backups, and I make sure that system restore is active, because those both can get turned off by Microsoft under certain circumstances. And far too common, in my opinion.
Doug?
Yes.
Question.
Go ahead.
If you set up other people's computers with a partition to do a Macrim Reflect backup using the same drive, why do we have our computers set up with an external hardware?
Doing an external backup is better than doing it on an internal drive. The reason I do it on an internal drive is when I have a computer come in for a client, I don't want to buy an extra drive to host the backups. And my client computers never are storing data on the computer. So data is critical, has to be backed up. But in the case of my client's computers where I will split a drive into two partitions, I find that acceptable, because if that entire drive is physically unusable and I can't recover the backup files, the only thing that means is I have to rebuild that one from scratch. I can do that. It's a pain. I don't like doing it. I'd rather restore a backup image, but if I have to go deeper than that, I'll do it. Most of the times when I have a problem with a client's computer, restoring from a second partition works, solves the problem. And it's been very, very rare that I've had to reinstall from scratch with a new drive. So in my case, in my circumstances, it is a very good solution. I do not recommend that as a blanket recommendation for everybody, and you, Josh, should have an external backup drive, because if your drive develops a problem on its boot partition, well, you can restore that from the external backup. If your drive totally fails, then you can get a new drive and restore from the backup. But you would not be able to do that if you were storing your backups on a second partition.
Okay.
Okay? Good. That was a good question. Because it's important that I get that out, because people might leave this video saying that, well, Doug says you don't have to back up to an external drive. No, Doug did not say that.
So you're saying never fly in an airplane that has only one engine. Always make sure your airplane has two engines.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I have come across pilots who actually say that they would never fly in an airplane that only has one engine. And then there's other pilots who that's all that they ever do, and that was me. Planes, people never get injured or die due to an engine failure. Never. The only time they get injured or die is the crash that might happen afterwards if they fail to land the plane. Part of our training as pilots is to always be able to spot a place where you can set the plane down and walk away from the plane. And that's the definition of a good landing. A good landing is when you can walk away from the plane. A great landing is when you can use the airplane again. All right. And that training is very serious on that point. It's not just a joke. It's a V minor. But the SSD came from a computer that's open 24/7, so if it is only 1 year old. The computer is much older than that. It's one of the computers that you guys would call a dinosaur, but that drive had only been in that computer since, I think it was October of 2022. The next orange, from Lawn Dog, on rare occasions I have had suspicious issues with USB hubs, especially certain brands. Kind of work, do not work condition. He might try purchasing a better quality USB hub. And I wouldn't do that until you determine the current USB hub is the problem. If you disconnect it and you use the computer long enough with no crashes to say that, yes, that is the problem, then yes, I would do that. But also even the quality of the USB cables connecting to it. There's a variety of quality of USB cables, and I'm not going to say it's a common cause of troubles, but marginally possible. And secondly, that hub seems to have a lot of things hooked up to it that are in constant use, like keyboard and mouse, I think, and some other things. This brings up the issue of overloading the USB hub or the communications port. USB-C exists on laptops. This isn't a laptop. It is an all-in-one that was purchased in 2022, so it very likely does have USB-C ports. I'm not sure why Jaden is bringing that into the conversation. Maybe it's somebody else's. I'm not reading all the comments, so it's probably some conversation I'm not part of. From Sam Lazar, I use USB-only speakers. They are RGB Logitech gaming speakers. If you had a computer that was occasionally having lockups, I would be suspicious of those. I would maybe if it's inconvenient to disconnect those and do long period of testing, maybe disconnect everything else but continue with the speakers. If you're still having troubles, then I would want a test scenario with those not connected. I'm not going to read all of Lon Doug's comments there.
I have a quick question, Doug.
Yeah.
I'm going to get crucified by everybody, but what does RGB on a speaker have to do with gaming? Oh,
Crucifixion?
All right. Should I? Some people that might be watching this video will say, "Send Brian to the waiting room."
yeah.
No. No, I don't know. Does this? Let's see. Does this qualify as RGB on my speakers?
RGB on speakers is like the Go Faster sticker.
Yeah. Here, I'll point this webcam to the speaker this webcam to the speaker on the desktop there, and you tell me, does that qualify as RGB on my speakers? That light right there?
No, that's just indicator light, on, off, or in use. I mean, you can't turn that into purple and all kinds of shades that blink on and off, and why would you want that on a speaker?
I know, I'm just messing. That's just the power light. Not RGB. Well,
But anyhow.
with the question about what does RGB on speakers have to do with gaming, what does RGB at all have to do with gaming?
Oh, I didn't say that. You did.
Yeah, no, it doesn't improve your skills in the game at all. It's just having fun. Why does Doug have an RGB wall back there?
It's the other Doug.
I mean, there's RGB on this computer because that's the way Kerry built it, and I wouldn't have requested it if we've got so much stuff up here. What a Doug. I mean, it's got it all on the fans there, and then there's fans on the top here. You can't see through the top, so the only way you can see the RGB on those fans is to duck down there and look upward. Yeah. Continuing in chat. From Ida Rivera, I have that problem with the old USB hard disk drive that was replaced. It locks up my computer constantly. The new drive doesn't do that. Okay, what that problem? I have that problem with the old USB hard disk drive. What problem was she referring to? I mean, it could be, I was talking about external drives for backups. Excuse me. Been talking about the SSD that was making the computer go sluggish. An old USB hard disk drive. Oh, okay, I have seen the instance where a computer's running slow, and it's because there's an external drive connected to the computer. And like every time you bring up File Explorer, the computer is doing some amount of activity with that external drive, even if you're not trying to look at it. And I have seen cases where disconnecting an external drive can cause a computer to feel more zippy. And I think that's only in the case where there's something amiss, either with that external drive or how it's connected. Looking for emojis and orange. Ran Israel, does the total NAND writes line appear if you run Crystal Disk Info on your computer? Good question. Now, I'm not sure that I have a recent Crystal Disk Info, so I'll just go grab current Crystal Disk Info. Come in here. And also, I like to keep doing this because I find it a little bit awkward to find the right place to download it here. So standard edition, click this download button, takes you to another screen, get rid of the ad, and then here we get the zip file. We don't want the installer, we want the zip. Download that, and waiting for these ads to get away, then it finally downloads, and not even going to respond to that question about cookies. Sort the downloads folder, and then extract all. It'll extract into a folder by the same name. Now the SSDs on this computer are NVMe, but that same criteria should be valid. Let's see, those are the zip folders. I found it. I've had multiple times where I've found it awkward to find it. I want crystal disk info, but not the zip folder. So if I go click on one of these and type CRY. Oh, that didn't put it into a folder. No, that's not it. That's 2022. Where is it? Doug, why do you have so much junk in your downloads folder? It's not my fault, it's the other Doug. Oh, come on, this is silliness. That's not the one I just downloaded, is it? 8. Here, this one. All right, I'm gonna take it somewhere else. Let's go over here to, yeah, let's go here. Paste it into this location that doesn't have as much junk. Extract all. Oh, I didn't mean to go to the root. I wanted to go to SW setup folder. That's fine. Get it here. Disk info 64. Answer yes. Now, when you first look at this, go, wait a minute, what's going on? Rotation rate? It's showing a spinning drive that I have in there for storing backup files. So here's the SSD. Total host writes, total host reads. Are we not even seeing the same?
Yeah, you're not seeing the same stuff, but it's different drives seem to report different things.
Yeah. So this doesn't even have that comparable thing, which was total NAND writes.
Yeah.
Reads, writes, total NANDs, and then the power on numbers. So we get the power on numbers. Oh, here I can make them both visible at the same time. Yeah. So they give us a rotation rate for an NVMe drive, but not total NAND writes, which the rotation rates is just dashes because it's not applicable.
It's reporting data units read, data units written down below, and
yeah, all this information down here below is different on different drives. It's apparently whatever the drive reports to the operating system, and doesn't seem to be any consistency.
right.
Temperature 29 degrees compared to 40 degrees. I don't think either of those. I don't think that 40 degrees is a problem.
No, shouldn't be.
And that's a 2.5 inch drive versus a M.2. All right. So that was Rand's request. So he's asked, does the total NAND writes line appear? He was asking if the line appears. He already suspected that it doesn't even appear. Jaden Stowe is asking, what is a BIOS? BIOS is basic input output system service. When you restart your computer, you can get into the BIOS setup screen, also referred to as CMOS setup. Let's see, I can show that on Baby Beast. I think it may be the case that Jaden would recognize the screen once he sees it. So I'll punch over here to Baby Beast and show how I'm going to get to it. Let's see, I want to do the advanced startup. This is from Windows 11. Change advanced startup options. That should get me there, I think. Reset, go back, advanced startup, restart now. I want to get to a point where I can ask it to restart into BIOS setup. What do we have there? Close 4 apps. We need you. Yeah, those things all closed on their own lonesome. Now, it looks like it's restarting here, but we should get to a screen that asks us how
I
do
had
we
an
want to
engineer-
restart.
I had an engineer one time tell me what a BIOS is, and he says it's the thing that tells the computer that it is a computer.
All right, fair that. Now, it looked to me like this. Oh, yes, it did still get to it. I got to a black screen there. You're not seeing this, are you? This isn't coming over on the screen, so I'm going to switch to my keyboard camera so that you can see what I've got on screen. There. So this is the advanced startup, and I can choose to troubleshoot, and then advanced options, and then over here UEFI firmware settings.
Hi, Tim.
Hey.
Also known as BIOS or CMOS setup. So I press enter on that, and then press enter on restart. Let's see, who do we get? Oh, Gary. I haven't said hello to Gary. You came in quite a while ago. Sorry about that. Hello, Gary. And Tim Sal's here. Oh, here comes Gary. Hang on a moment. Hello, Gary.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. Sorry that I didn't acknowledge you earlier.
I've been on the phone anyway, so
Say again?
been on the phone.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised this isn't coming over through my capture device, although I would probably have to move some cables around, because I have noticed that if I have my a monitor connected and my capture device, that the BIOS setup screen can come, sometimes will only come through on the monitor, not through the capture device. That's why it's not working. And this BIOS screen will look different from one computer model to another, depending upon what version of BIOS you have. All right, so now I'll come back to chat. I'll let Baby Beast start up. Thank you, Sam, for hitting me in orange to let me know about that. And then going for more oranges. Oh, I got somebody else to say hello to. Tim Sal. Hello, Tim Sal.
Hello.
Yeah, there he is. Have I covered everybody? Yes, I think I have. William Dawson, did I say hello to you?
No, I just popped in.
Oh, you just popped in. Okay, hello, welcome aboard. All right, going back to chat. Sam Lazar says, Samsung SSD for me, unless I need more than 2 terabytes, then crucial. Yeah, my M.2 NVMe is 8 terabytes. That's what Kerry Holzman had put in this computer. He had asked me if I wanted a different one. I said, no, leave it in. So right up there you see the 8 terabytes on that. And I have that partitioned as a C drive, F drive, and M drive. Right? It's kind of above my cursor there, too high. If I move my cursor up there, then there's some other window that pops up.
Now, here's my question.
Yeah.
How much of that 8 terabytes are you actually using?
Oh, all right. I'll show you that. Let's see. This is an emoji at the end of the line. You need to put emoji at the beginning of the line if you're trying to get my attention. Or I was mentioning earlier, try another brand if something has some quality to it, not the cheap stuff. By the way, Crystal Disk there is not total NAND at all. This is from Zavi Manor. By the way, in Crystal Disk, there is not total NAND at all. Not quite sure I'm comprehending that because, oh, he's showing total NAND. He's showing an example of a total NAND here, but when I did Crystal Disk Info on my client's computer using this SP solid state drive, it is there, the total NAND rates. And this is Crystal Disk Info 8.17.14, and the version that I just downloaded today is 8.17.14, exact same version. So what shows up in here is not determined by Crystal Disk Info. It appears to be determined by the drive that you're communicating with.
Yes. Different drives report different parameters.
Yeah. Then let's see, looking for more orange and emojis. And by the way, I will go back and read through the rest of the chat messages. Because many times there are things that show up in there that you didn't get my attention with that I do want to see. Okay, now where are we at? We got other topics to cover. Back to
If you want to be on time, you got 30 minutes.
I would like to be on time, but I don't have a critical reason for that. I just would rather not go more than 2 hours. Going back to look at the topics list, there were other requests. Let's see, that was the defective 1 terabyte drive. The ShieldsUp was one of the early requests. I think that was by a couple people. I need to test this chat room thing, and it's not going to take long to do. So I'm going to go ahead and punch over to that because I couldn't test this unless I'm actually live streaming. Here's the button. So I want to have the stream visible to me there, and here I'm switching over to chat. Okay, so there's what this chat room extension looks like, and it is very difficult for me to read because it's so tiny. So now I need to know what about, and there's actually 2 extensions, but I can only configure one at a time, it appears. Should be able to change the size. Here's text size. Oh, and it happens live as I'm clicking. I didn't know when I was reading about this if I would be able to scroll up and down through the messages. And no, I don't seem to have a way to scroll through the messages. I can't highlight them. When I hold the mouse down on that, it just drags the window around. I can change fonts. I'm not going to go play around with that stuff because if I can't scroll up and down, then it's not useful to me. Yeah, I don't see anything else I can do with that there. So I think on Monday I'll try the other chat room extension, but for now I'm not going to take any more time with that. Another thought that I had about fixing this problem that shows up with when I'm scrolling up and down, how the chat room flickers for you all, is if I... Did somebody just chuckle at me using the word you all? Is to broadcast at more frames per second. But if I do that, I think there may be more buffering occurrences, so I'm not very attracted to doing that. Going to the next orange. Ran Israel, maybe total NAND writes appears when the drive is circling the drain. I could test that by trying it with another SP SSD drive that is working fine and see if that item is there. I doubt that. I think it's I think that's probably a static display that anytime you're using an SP solid state drive is that this total NAND rights would be appearing. I'm hard pressed to imagine that that would only show up when the drive's having a problem, particularly since down here in the raw values, there's nothing wrong with these numbers. When you look through anything that has a value in the raw values and see what it is, well, that's power on, that's cycle count, and then go to the next one that has a value. They're vendor specific, and then one, here's a digit 1 for program fail count, and then that one's vendor specific. That one is spare block count left. So that's what I do for looking through these numbers is I go down the list and look at each one that has a value here and see what it is. And these names are all different from one drive manufacturer to another, or one drive model to another. I don't know under what consistency you see. Well, does every SP SSD have this same list? Or does it vary maybe with different, I don't know, technologies that the particular drive might be using? Because each manufacturer has different qualities of drives that they sell that use different technology in them. So those different technologies might have a different list of things. I don't know. Okay, no other highlights. And there's too much stuff for me to read through it all. Ran Israel, the attributes seem to change depending on the drive interface. That could be too.
I think it's a SATA drive, Doug. I mean, what you're using is a SATA drive.
You think I'm using a SATA drive?
No, the one you're showing with the NAND writes is a SATA drive.
True, and it is.
Yes.
Here we go.
It is.
I got it. Doug, I got it.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that it's a SATA drive. I think he's right because I just plugged in an ADATA 2.5-inch drive on a USB adapter. Yeah, I've got the total NAND rights here.
And when
I
that
know the drive I have in the garage, and it's a SP, and it doesn't have NAND writes.
and
Yeah,
how
If you want me to share this, I'll do this.
yeah, please. I would like that.
Make sure you're enabled.
Let me go. Oh, probably not. I think somehow I have that default to not allow participants to share screen. That was back when we were having Zoom bomber troubles.
Right.
Okay, it's that. You should be able to share now.
Okay.
And it might take me a minute to change the configuration over to
Right.
YouTube.
Understood. Okay, there we go.
All right, it's going over YouTube. So there's total NAND writes. So this is ADATA, and if you connect that ADATA internally to the computer, does it not have NAND writes?
No, it will regardless whether I just happen to have it on a adapter at the moment.
On an adapter, okay. And is this a 2.5-inch drive, not a?
This is a 2.5-inch drive. It's not
Okay.
an NVMe drive. If I go over here to where my NVMe drive is,
Yeah,
you don't see it.
and it's also
Not there.
ADATA. Okay, but that
Okay.
is that's an M.2 versus a 2.5-inch. So is it because of the? If you were to put an M.2 drive in an external enclosure and connect it by USB, would that be a SATA connection then?
No, that would be considered a USB connection, which is the same thing I have with the, hang on, let me see if this will come up here.
Let's
Give
see
me a minute.
this.
Yeah, it won't, that one's not coming up. Interesting. All right, whatever.
I didn't understand what's not coming up.
I have actually two drives plugged into this. One is an NVMe in an enclosure, but I can't seem to get it to come up.
Yeah, because I don't think Crystal Disk Info is going to recognize a drive through an enclosure, is it?
Yep, I got it up right now.
Yeah, it should.
Oh, so Gary, you have an M.2 and an enclosure connected by USB, and it is showing in Crystal Disk Info?
Yep, USB-C, but yeah.
On USB-C might be the difference.
It
Yeah,
says
could
it's,
be. Could be. Easy enough to find out, though.
well,
Because I happen to have an adapter that will allow me to do that. There we go.
not going to that much trouble.
Nah. I want to see if it'll actually show up. No, it still won't show up. That's weird. Now, let me stop sharing this for a second, and let me close it down. And
But if you buy a new Dell computer, you get a 2230 NVMe Kingston drive, 1 gig, or 1 terabyte, excuse me.
Okay, there it goes. I had to restart it. All right, so let me do this one again real quick.
Oh, you had to restart Crystal Disk Info.
I had to restart Crystal Disk apparently.
Sure,
Okay,
that makes
here we
sense.
go. So, all right, that's the NVMe that's in the computer itself.
Okay.
That's the silicone power. It's an NVMe in an enclosure. And then that last one, that's the 2.5-inch drive through USB adapter. So apparently it has something to do with the fact that it's a 2.5-inch drive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's specific to the drive.
Right.
Well, it might be just a SATA interface as opposed to the PCIe interface.
Yeah, that could be too. But you'll notice on this drive that it's what is
Yeah,
it,
much
5.62?
more reasonable number.
Right. It's not out in freaking, orbiting Alpha Centauri.
It's actually lower than the total host rates. Total NAND rates is lower than the total host rates.
Right. Which I find interesting too. But
Yeah,
that's
that seems that I would think it would be the other way around.
anyway, I just thought that might be useful, so I'll cut
Yeah.
this off the screen.
Actually, Doug, that drive you were showing, didn't
Yeah.
it have like outrageously high number for NAND rates?
Yes.
Yes,
it did.
it was outrageous.
It was
Absolutely.
something like what was it, like 18 petabytes or something like that? It was a big number.
Oh well, I've still got it available here. I'll bring that up again. It was crazy high.
And that would be out of the 150 terabytes probably.
Yeah, so 180 terabytes. Here it is. And total host rights was only 5 terabytes. 5 terabytes compared to 180 terabytes. Yeah, crazy difference. Okay, I need to come back to chat. Selden Ball, I have 2 ancient SATA SSDs. Neither of them have NAND writes. One is Samsung, the other is Crucial. Okay, so that is a decent comparison. So far, we're only seeing it on the SP then. Silicon Power, not what I was saying earlier, because Jim recently corrected that. So on a Samsung and a Crucial, SATA SSDs. So those are the 2.5-inch SSDs, not M.2, and they do not have NAND rates. Both are internal drives, not USB. Okay, well the one that I'm been showing the photos of was internal. Ran to Jim, close Crystal Disk. Oh, start again. Let's go to the next emoji. I have 3 SSDs from Dennis. My Samsung NVMe does not have a NAND writes column. My 2.5-inch Kingston and my Kingston NVMe drive do have NAND write columns. Well, okay, so here's something. This is different than what we've seen so far. Kingston 2.5-inch has NAND, but the significance here is his NVMe drive, which that's an M.2, does have the NAND write column.
No, mine does not.
Your Kingston NVMe M.2 does not have a NAND.
Nope.
So that has then in this case, we have seen, by virtue of Dennis and Gary, Kingston M.2 NVMe drive, in one case, Dennis's case, has the NAND write column and Gary does not. So
My
it's
computer, my Kingston drive is 3 weeks old,
all right.
if that helps or hurts.
I think the next thing that would help would be the model number be with your Kingston NVMe and Dennis's model number and perhaps size. But that's saying that this isn't this distinction about the NAND write column. We haven't identified when that occurs. It's so far
It could also be in the firmware they're running.
the firmware that's on the drive, maybe.
Yeah.
Dennis says that's PC number 1. Results may vary on my other machines. I would want to assume that if you take that drive to another machine, it's going to be consistent in whether you have the NAND write column or not. I would expect any individual device is going to be consistent no matter what computer you install it in, unless you're doing an external enclosure. It might be different. But even then, I think maybe not different. Because it should be information being reported by the drive to the computer.
I'm
Yeah.
reading on a couple of websites where some guys are questioning this exact thing. Why is their total NAND writes extremely high? And here's an
Wow.
example, a Seagate Barracuda 120. And it's only a couple of months old. He's only written 249 gigs to the drive, and yet the drive is reporting 10 billion gigabytes written. Obviously, there's a problem with the reporting of the NAND writes, but in this case, with the performance that you came back on this of 2 megabytes per second on writes, there's obviously a problem in the performance of that drive.
Yeah. Now, when I installed that drive, I looked back at my records from that October incident. I brought that computer into the lab and I did a fresh install of Windows on that computer, which implies to me that her spinning hard drive had probably gone bad. And I recall asking her subsequently if the computer felt different than it did before, because I was expecting, look, I've put an SSD in the computer, it had a spinning hard drive. I want to hear the person say that it's faster, and I've told you guys before, I've often had people report, no, not really much different. And I think I recollect her saying, no, it's not really better. In fact, it might be worse. And so I'm thinking that this drive had that problem from the very beginning when I first installed it.
If someone can do the math on this, take 500 megabytes per second, divide it into the total NAND writes, like in the case I'm looking at on his web's one page, the answer for them was it'll take 70 years to write that much. So on your drive, I forget the exact number, 18.
Well, I've got to bring it up on screen again. So
divided by
180 terabytes. So I'll just take that in a spreadsheet here, equal sign 180, and I need that to be terabytes. So that's the trillions section. 3 more digits for the billion section, and then 3 more digits for the millions, and then 3 digits for thousands, and then 3 digits for singles. So I think that is 180 terabytes. Divided by what?
500 megabytes per second.
500 megabytes. So 500, that's megabytes, and then 3 for the thousands, and then 3 for the singles. So that's 360,000. Was that supposed to be giving us days or?
Well, that'd be seconds. That doesn't seem outrageous on that one, though.
No. If I did those zeros right. But no, when you said that the 500 megabytes was supposed to be 500 megabytes per what?
Per second.
Per second. So maybe we're supposed to divide by 500 rather than 500 million. If that's the case, I'll have to make this column wider to see. That's giving me a scientific number. I'll let somebody else in chat come up with that. Greg M., this is a used SSD that was powered on for over a year. Zavi Minor, the first image was 2.5-inch SATA Samsung internal. The new in the link is 2.5 SATA in X and USB external. The first image, that I think I still have his first image up on screen somewhere. Would that be over here? Yeah, this one. And then Zavi's new link over here. That's one of those weird things, I can't make it bigger. Okay, so what is he saying about this? The first image was 2.5 SATA internal. The new link is 2.5 SATA in USB external. And the thing here we care about is that it does not have that NAND reporting. I guess I'm getting a little mushy. I'm not sure what to take away from that. Can you explain that to me like I'm a 10-year-old? Here's something from Dennis. What is this? Kingston, 1 terabyte M.2. And why is he showing us this? Just to show what the cost is currently? I don't know. I'm starting to lose. I got too many conversation threads to keep track of these conversations. Because I'm looking for more emojis. There he says model number. Yeah, I don't know what to connect that to with the previous conversation. Okay. We've kind of beat this to death, haven't we?
Yes.
I think so.
You sound like a CNC machine, Doug. You got a bunch of sub-programs going on in the background.
I have too many loops, too many, what's in computer programming, what memory registers, I don't know. Go-to statements, some other word that I'm trying to think of. Yeah, we're not going to, the Windows indexing service, I could actually launch that on a Windows Daily. ShieldsUp. I need to figure out what do you, in chat and in Zoom, how hazardous is it to publish my public IP? I don't have any ports open, so I don't think it's a big deal. I think I could run that ShieldsUp and expose my public IP, and there's really high-skilled hackers sufficiently motivated to break into my stuff, they can do it. That's not, I mean, the way they can break into highly secured facilities, if somebody's sufficiently motivated and sufficiently skilled or to go after me, they could get to me even without making my public IP known.
Better watch Joshy.
The public IP is going to change anyways.
Why would I want to
in
do
the lease
that?
period and renews itself.
Yeah, it does, but it renews itself, but sometimes it renews at the same address. But I can go in and request a new public IP. So if I feel that I want to be cautious, I could go into my router and release and renew and should get a different address. I haven't tried that in a long time. I don't know if that's still true, but I think it is. I'm looking back at the. I just don't feel that I got the energy to go take on another subject it's going to take any length of time at all. Oh, somebody did request the layout changes regarding comments, and somebody brought that up recently, that some YouTube users, when they go look at video after the live stream is over with, instead of finding comments below the video, let's try this one. Instead of finding comments below the video, they find it on this right-hand panel, and their suggested videos show up across the bottom. And somebody said that an easy way to deal with that is to, I think it was like, go to your subscriptions page and then back to video. I can't test that because I don't have the symptom the person was describing, where on a video that's already been published, you find comments on the right-hand panel.
You don't want to know my opinion about it. Leave it alone.
Well, I don't. What my initial view of that is, I didn't like it, but when I read up about it, I understand what YouTube was trying to accomplish. They are trying to accomplish getting viewers of videos to look at the comments, because most viewers of videos don't scroll down to look at the comments. On the other hand, YouTube has a motivation to show suggested videos. So when they move the comments up to the right-hand panel, as long as you can still see some suggested videos across the bottom, which you can under that condition, they're accomplishing both features from their motivation. But the reason why I put that on the list of topics was because I think there's probably a lot of people out there that don't like that. And it could be useful for me to produce a video that shows how to get around that. But I haven't really learned that technique. And what I need to do to produce a video, let's see, where is that? Here. To produce a video showing people what to do is I need to be able to show the symptom. And that's something that I have always wanted on my channel to do, is when I'm showing a fix for something, I want to show the problem symptom, not simulated problem symptom, not using a virtual computer to say, here's what you would do if you had this symptom, because I'm very frustrated with videos that get produced that say, if you have such and such symptom, here's how to fix it, and all they do is show how to uninstall and reinstall or update drivers, or very, very generic things. I want to see the problem symptom and then apply the fix for it, and then, show that this proves that that will solve the symptom. Because I've had many times, I go search for a solution for a specific problem, I find YouTube videos or websites that claim to have the solution, and then I do what they say, and it does not solve the problem. That's because there are a lot of channels out there that will just put together what they think the solution might be, and then they claim that's the solution. Okay, get off that soapbox, Doug. We don't want to hear you.
But I'm the kind of person that doesn't like change. I just want them to leave it alone.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of with you on that, and my clients usually are the same way.
Good luck with that.
What, convincing the developers to stop changing things?
No. Oh, no, never gonna happen. That's
never gonna happen. That's their job security. If they stop
That's
changing
right.
things, they don't have work to do. Okay, now, so I'm about to put this show to bed. Just do a last check of chat here. I got to figure out where I left off.
Doug, are you playing Fortnite tonight?
Yes. My usual Saturday time, which is 5 p.m. Pacific time. Recursions. Yeah, I ran Israel. I think that's what I was... Yeah, it's not quite the thing that I was thinking of. popped push was another attempt to come up with a right store when you've stored a position in a register. I'm thinking somewhere along those lines. You wanted to compare my SSD to somebody else's.
I was thinking of just error 404 for you.
I think this is Dennis's response to me asking why was he giving me the
He was talking.
the Amazon.
He was talking if it was compared to my Kingston.
Oh yes, the model numbers, right. So Gary, I have this up on screen. Are you able to tell us what your model is compared to what he has?
No, it's another computer. I'm not
Another
going.
computer. Oh, all right. Well, this is documented what Dennis has now. Ida Rivera functions. I was also trying to figure out what word I was trying to get. Ran Israel, it was me. Ran Israel. Oh, Ran Israel, it was him that was asking about that YouTube format. Right-click the video, open a new tab to use the old layout. Oh, okay. See, that's perfect. Now I need to find a computer that I can get on a video and show the symptoms. So if you get a video and you're having that symptom where the comments are in the right-hand side, what he is saying is right-click the video and open in a new tab. So can we do that from here?
Comments are on the right or chat? I've never seen comments on the right-hand side.
Yes, it is a thing that's showing up on some computers, some people's, and this was a recent YouTube recently. I think it was even a May date, May 2nd or something like that they started putting that out more. So here's that video. Right click on it, open a new tab. So Ran Israel is saying this will get you back to the default view where you have comments down below. And I'm not demonstrating the problem symptom here because they haven't pushed, YouTube hasn't pushed that out to me. Ran Israel, thank you. Ran, he emailed me so I can bring up his photos. He sent photos by email.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll bring those up to remind people. Yeah, YouTube layout differences.
I'm going to assume they were in English. The chat.
The videos, yeah, they were in English.
Okay, well, I mean, could be Hebrew.
And he pointed out, let's see, he said, make sure that I can show this all right. I'm going to scroll down enough so that you don't see his email address. And now I'm going to bring this. This is the email he sent me. I'm attaching the screenshots you asked me in today's live stream. To clarify what I mean by old layouts, the old layout, videos on the top left of the screen, chat window on the right of the playback window if it's a live stream, or if it's a replay, if you're replaying a live stream after the chat messages become available, because there might be as much as a day delay before you can see the chat messages of a previously run live stream. Suggested videos below the chat window to the right of the video, comments below the video. This is the old layout, the one that we all love and like. And the new layout is video on the top left, the same place that it's been before, you know, taking up like 3/4 of the screen. Comments in a small frame to the right of the video. Suggested videos are large thumbnails below the video. And these are the pictures he sent. We'll get to them in a minute. If I pick a video from my watch later page from one of my subscriptions or from search results, the old layout is used. If I pick a video from my main YouTube page from what YouTube suggests, the new layout is used. Also the same behavior in Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge, so it's not a browser issue. If I log out from my account or use guest mode, only the old layout is used. So it appears to be related to my account. All right, so then let's go. I've already downloaded that one. Download this one. Oh, here goes Doug again with downloading things. We know he has problems with that. Okay, so then the titles of these. indicate what they are. So this first one is searching on YouTube. The next one is playback with the old layout, and then picking a video on YouTube homepage, then playback with the new layout. So searching on YouTube, he's searching for chocolate cake. Is Ken watching this? Ken shouldn't be watching this. It's because Ken's a diabetic and he eats it. I'm just messing with him. Then here's the second one. This is playback with the old layout. All right, so you got the video here, and on the right-hand side, suggested videos. You don't see comments over here, and we can see down here that the comments are below the video. And then the next one, picking a video from the YouTube home page. This is the over here on the left-hand side. You click home, and then this is what your suggested videos look like. And then the playback with the new layout. So here you can see the video, and on the right-hand side, these are comments. The comments that would normally, this is not a live stream. This is a recorded video. And the comments on the right-hand side and other suggested videos across the bottom. This is the new layout that Rand doesn't like, I don't like, and Josh doesn't like. Those are the only ones who have declared themselves. So, thank you, Rand, for pointing me back to that. Wintermute says, go to YouTube homepage, click a video, loads in place with comments to the right, other videos below, reload the page, layout goes back to normal. So Wintermute is saying if you have this symptom, you may be able to get back to normal by reloading the page. Let's get back. So reloading the page would just be the refresh button up here in the upper left. If you have comments on the right hand side, just try doing this refresh button and see if that doesn't get you back to normal, according to Wintermute. Orange Seldom Ball, maybe if you create a new YouTube account, you might see the new layout. I don't know for sure. Yeah, a brand new YouTube account might get the new layout, maybe not. It depends upon how they're doing their rollout. Ida says that's a variable. Oh, yeah, no, that's not what I'm thinking of for the programming recollection, for me keeping track of all these conversations in the past. It could be you could assign the previous conversation to a variable. That would be useful if my brain worked that way and I could just pick out that person's name and see that whole conversation in my head. Ran Israel, look at the file names for descriptions. Yes, I did catch on to that, Ran Israel. I did not catch on to that when you first sent those to me. Yes, it works. Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow, I think, is the condition I'm in right now, where I can't keep track of all of those stacks from the previous conversations. Before the stack overflows, I can recollect the stacks and keep the conversations kind of orderly in my head. Let's not talk about the condition of Doug's head. All right, let's put it to bed, people. Can I ask you in Zoom to say goodbye to the audience?
Bye,
Goodbye to the audience.
Good night, John Boy.
All right.
Good night, John Boy.
Ending Zoom. Thanks for hanging with us. And your contributions to the show. For you people that come into Zoom, I appreciate that a lot. You are definitely part of what I think makes the show interesting, that you're here. All right, ending Zoom.
Good.
Somebody just tried to say goodbye, and I cut them off at the feet. Bobby Warren asks, who's in Zoom? Well, you just saw them, so I'm not going to name them. And I will be reading through chat, so anything, comments I missed from you, I will be aware of what you've said. Thanks for hanging with us. I hope that was useful. Have a great weekend, everybody, and goodbye.